She kept yelling, "You're breaking HOA rules." But we didn't even have an HOA in our area. Every morning, two men in cheap uniforms pulled up in a white pickup with "Show Security" printed on the side. They hit our old wooden fence like it was part of their job. Grandpa would stand on the porch, silent, coffee in hand, watching them like he was studying wildlife. I asked, "Should we call the sheriff?" He smiled, calm as always. "Not yet, son. Let's see how far these fools go." That morning, one of the fake officers shouted, "We'll fine you for non-compliant fencing." Grandpa let out a low laugh and said, "Fine me for what? My land's been here longer than your fake badges." The man turned bright red and snapped, "You'll regret this, old man," before speeding off, dust rising behind him. Grandpa stayed quiet the rest of the day, but later that evening, I found him rolling out a blueprint on the kitchen table. It wasn't just any plan. It was the defense layout from his old ranch work during his years with the Army Corps of Engineers. "If they want to play rough," he said, pulling on his gloves, "we'll give them something stronger than wood next time." By sunrise, Grandpa was already out by the fence line. Sparks flew as he welded thick steel rails across the posts. "This fence won't break again," he muttered. I handed him his tools and watched as he turned his quiet anger into iron by noon. The fake HOA cops returned, laughing as they pulled up. "Let's see how the old man likes this one." The driver slammed the truck straight into the new fence. The crash echoed across the yard, but the fence didn't move at all. The truck bounced back, its hood crushed and steaming. Grandpa didn't flinch. He leaned on the fence and said, "You boys better hope your fake boss covers damages." Their faces drained of color. One grabbed his radio and whispered in a panic. Grandpa smiled. He knew something they didn't, because this time, he had added more than steel. When smoke poured from their hood, both men scrambled out. One clutched his shoulder and yelled, "He's got traps. This is illegal." Grandpa raised an eyebrow. Still calm. "Illegal on my land." His voice had the kind of quiet strength that made grown men hesitate. Within minutes, another truck arrived. This one was black and marked County Sheriff. The fake officers straightened up fast, pretending they had called for backup. "Sheriff, arrest this man," one shouted. "He built military-grade fencing and set dangerous traps." The sheriff stepped out, steady and "Name's Sheriff Dalton," he said, looking at Grandpa and then at the wrecked truck. "What's going on here?" The fake officers rushed over, waving a clipboard. "This property's under HOA violation, and this man attacked us." Grandpa didn't argue. He simply handed the sheriff a worn brown folder containing deeds, maps, and a county-sealed document. The sheriff flipped through it and frowned. "This ranch isn't under any HOA jurisdiction," he said firmly. He turned to the two men. "So tell me, what HOA are you representing?" They froze. One stammered, "The Ridgewood Community Association." The sheriff's voice hardened. "Funny, Ridgewood dissolved 8 years ago." Grandpa finally spoke, slow and steady. "They've been bothering us for weeks, claiming they'd fine us for the fence, so I reinforced it." He nodded toward the crushed trap. "Looks like the fence held better than their story." The sheriff narrowed his eyes. "I did?" he asked. The men hesitated. Then one tried to run for the truck, but Grandpa was already standing in front of the gate, solid as a wall. "Don't try it," he said. He didn't raise his voice, but it stopped the man instantly. The sheriff called for backup, and 2 real deputies arrived. The fake HOA cops were handcuffed in the dirt they thought they controlled. Grandpa leaned close to me and whispered, "They weren't acting alone." The sheriff heard him and nodded. "We've had reports of a group doing this, trying to scare people off their land." He turned back to Grandpa. "You did good reinforcing that fence. You might have stopped something bigger." Grandpa gave a small smile. "Wasn't just a fence, Sheriff. It was a message." But later that night, as we locked the tool shed, we found a note pinned to the gate. It read, "Nice fence, but you can't protect what you don't really own." Grandpa stared at it for a long moment. For the first time that day, his hands shook slightly. "They know more than they should," he whispered. Before sunrise the next morning, a black SUV parked across the road. A woman in a sharp suit stepped out with cold eyes. "Mr. Hayes," she said, "you're occupying restricted property. My company owns this land now." Grandpa handed her the deed again. "This ranch has been ours for 60 years. She smirked. "Not anymore. My team will clear it by tomorrow." Before she could leave, the sheriff's truck rolled in. "Perfect timing," he said, flashing his badge. "We traced those fake HOA officers back to your company payments." Her confident look cracked. Grandpa crossed his arms. "Seems like your little scam hit a steel wall, too." The sheriff handed her a warrant. "You're under arrest for fraud, property invasion, and impersonation." Deputies cuffed her while Grandpa watched quietly. That evening we sat by the steel fence as the sunset lit it up like fire. Grandpa said softly, "They thought they could take what generations built, but land remembers its owner." I smiled. "Looks like the fence wasn't the only thing reinforced today." Grandpa chuckled. "Some things you just can't break." The end.